Grab a brew and tune in to the High Ticket Review. In each episode, you'll get a rewind of the misses, makes, and definitely magic of live high-ticket sales calls from a veteran sales consultant, Will DeShazo, who has held more than 15,000 calls and trained multiple 8-figure companies, all while developing a simple winning framework to close your next call. From objection handling,
I'm gonna need to sleep on this,
to on-call close techniques, the High Ticket Review has you covered up in talk tracks that convert to dollars. Now, on to today's training.
All right, today's episode might sound a little different. I'm gonna slow this one down intentionally. You know, I do speak fast, but today I'm going to slow it down because we're talking about one of the most underrated and definitely the most uncomfortable but powerful tools in your tool belt as a coach hosting high-ticket discovery calls. And it is silence. The pause. The art of saying nothing. It's much easier than it sounds. The moment right after you ask a question, when your prospect goes quiet and your brain goes into overdrive and starts screaming at you, say something, fill the void, tell them this, tell them that. But here's the truth. Silence in these scenarios is not awkward. It's sacred time. And when you can learn to hone in on honoring that time, you'll see how much it transforms your conversations and the prospects that you talk to. See, it's not in the talking of you, it's in the stillness between phrases, between words, that really the magic lives. There's a few years ago, I was on a discovery call. Keep in mind, I've had more than 13,000 of these. And there was a man who clearly was interested in what I did. He was tracking, he was nodding, he was engaging, he was agreeing. And then when I asked him a simple question, what's been the hardest part about being stuck here? Super simple question, right? He went quiet. I mean, like, really, really quiet. It felt like 4 minutes. It was probably like 5 seconds. It felt like forever. And my heart rate spiked, and everything in me wanted to jump in and save him. Maybe rephrase or tell a story, lighten the mood, or just assume, right? It's so easy. What's been the hard part about being stuck here? Then you wait. Is it this? But something in me whispered, stop, don't fill it. So I stayed quiet. And I just sat with him in that space. And after what felt like an eternity, he said something along the lines of, I'm just tired of pretending that it's all okay. Ooh, that was it. I mean, in that moment, the sale had happened. He didn't know it yet. I didn't know it yet. But it wasn't when I spoke. It was when I didn't speak. And that's when I realized that silence is not a gap to fix something. It's a door that opens. That's it. So let's talk about why, maybe before we get into some answers, why silence can feel so uncomfortable. I feel like we're taught from a really early age that silence means something is wrong. Right? If there's silence on a date, it's awkward, or silence in a meeting, it's awkward. My wife and I call it awkward. Silence on a sales call, instant total panic, right? But the reality is silence does not mean that they're disinterested or that you did something wrong. It's actually the opposite. More times than not, if you're following what I teach here, it means that your words actually landed. They searched the soul of the prospect on the other end. It didn't lead them to talk, it led them to think. And when a prospect goes quiet, it's not because they've checked out, it's because they're really like checking in to engage with the conversation, right? They're processing, they're counting costs, they're feeling an emotion. That's what you want, by the way. That's what we're all after, whether you're the prospect or you're the coach. Think about it. Oftentimes, silence moment comes when your prospect pauses after you reveal your price. And immediately, most of the coaches that I work with say, oh gosh, they're hesitating. I need to lower the price. Or, oh man, I need to come in and I need to rescue them. It's not true. Their brain is just weighing out value versus fear. Right? Often the prospect goes quiet after a deep question. And you might think, oh man, I messed up. They don't understand what I was asking. I asked the wrong thing. The reality is you probably just touched the truth, and it's one of the first times they've ever been asked this question. They've never even considered, right? So the next time your call goes silent or your prospect kind of sits for a sec, remember, it's not a stall. It's a signal that you're doing the right thing. You're being a phenomenal coach. As I watch this wasp roll around my office right now. Creating space for honesty is what silence can do. So in my framework, silence shows up when you listen and when you get to the close. So you ask them if they want to join your program, right? Silence is where listening becomes deep and transformative. It's where decisions become real at the end of your conversation. When you stop talking, your prospect's brain finally has room to process. Here's the thing. This is why I tell you to talk less. You need to talk 25 to 30% of the time on your conversation because people don't make decisions while you're talking. They make decisions in the pause after what you have said. That's when they connect the dots. They visualize their future and start to see and believe in their bones that this is possible. So don't fear the pause. Like, feel it, lean into it, seek it. Pause is presence, and presence is what we're all after on these calls. So I tend to think, just getting practical here before we wrap, there are 3 types of pauses that can create movement inside of your prospect. And every coach that I talk to, all of these should matter. The first is the reflective pause. This is actually your prospect pausing. This one happens after your prospect finishes talking. And most coaches get this wrong in that they rush to respond, to validate, to analyze, to, relationally connect or share advice. These are things that most coaches would do. But if you just breathe, if you just let it hang, this is kind of crazy. Trust me on it though. 9 times out of 10, your prospect's actually just going to keep talking about the situation. And what comes next is usually the truth, not the surface of the whole story. So just one beat of stillness and the real gold can show up. That's what I call the reflective pause. It comes from your prospect. The anchoring pause comes from you. This one's unique. It happens right before you ask maybe a very important, soul-searching question. In the moment where you can give weight to your words. For example, hey, you've been carrying this a long time. What would it look like to give it up? See, I waited a little bit. I paused in between the statement and the question. That little gap, that one breath, can make your question land a little bit harder. A little more like an anchor settling in than a massive wave hitting them across the face. Then there's the decision pause. And this is the one that most people hate. This can happen after you ask your closing line. How do you feel about moving forward? Are you ready to get started? That can be a decision pause. It can also happen after, hey, how's this feeling so far? Hey, is this resonating with you? Right? It can happen there too. This is one of the harder pauses to hold because it's a moment of truth. Your prospect is truly deciding. They might look away. They might fidget. They might go totally quiet. It's okay. Don't rescue them. Do not throw them the life buoy. They don't need it. Let silence hold weight in the moment. Because once they actually speak, it's their decision from that point. It's not about your persuasion or what you say or do. It's truly their decision. And there's energy to that. Things begin to feel alive. You can feel the room start to breathe. Hold the space. It's really powerful. So if those are the 3 places, how do I best practice this? Okay, there's a couple of unique things I would say. In order to not lose your cool, in order to prevent yourself from jumping in, just breathe. Don't brace for impact and look at what to say next. Just breathe. When it gets quiet, your body naturally will want to kind of tense a little bit. Take an inhale through your deviated septum nose, if you're me, and exhale through your mouth. Regulate your nervous system. It will also regulate theirs. A calm body, a calm presence, a calm stillness creates a safe place for them to speak. So just breathe, okay? The second thing I'd recommend that you do is anchor your attention on them. Stop thinking about what you're going to say next and make this about them. Do not catch yourself as they're talking being like, oh my God, I got the perfect thing for that. Stop. Watch them. Notice their eyes, their breathing, their posture if you're on Zoom. Notice their tonality, the words they use, why they use them. Be fully with them. Their presence is what allows them to feel supported by you. Okay? Don't worry about what to say next. This is not about perfection. And sometimes you just need to count before you speak. I've done this before. Literally count on your hand. If you're on Zoom, do it off camera. But like 1, 2, 3. If you're still tempted to jump in, count to 3 more. Count to 3, literally. The longer the silence, the deeper the decision can be. Now, there's a point in this where we don't want to be awkward about this whole thing, okay? I don't want to drop price and be like, it's $5,000 and not say it. There's ways to avoid that. But the silence that I'm looking for is sacred space. It's allowing them to sit and to rest and to think and to truly decide on their own what they want. Stop interrupting revelation is my advice to you today. We all do it. So here's your challenge for this week. Here's the action I want you to take this week. On your next few calls, create 3, just 3, intentional pauses. And hey, by the way, one of them is really easy. It's right after, are you ready to get started? Like that's your easiest one. Find 2 others. And after your questions, stop, breathe, count to 3 if you have to, smile. Just let it sit, let it breathe. See what happens. After my nearly decade of high-ticket coaching conversations, I can tell you that you're going to start to notice and start to embrace the fact that silence is not an enemy, it's an ally. And that's where people begin to truly process out truth out loud. Emotion begins to settle in and come out. And trust begins to grow root and become a big, thriving oak tree in a matter of just minutes on these conversations. It's almost always. Okay, so take some time, hold space for the sacred stillness. Silence, doing less, actually equates to more. Isn't that funny how it always works? All right, that's today's sprinkle. I hope that you take it and you put it on your next conversation. I hope to see you on the next episode and have a wonderful, wonderful week.
All right, you just listened to the High Ticket Review. And by the way, this podcast is completely supported by you, a high ticket closer, business owner, or salesperson. So make sure to smash that subscribe button to close higher dollar deals faster. And don't forget, go implement what you heard today. Opportunity is right around the bend on the other end of every single call that you take. See you next time.